Hello everyone, and how are you doing? I trust you're having a very wonderful day, and welcome to Data Analyst Certificate Course Program. Today, I'm going to talk about what is data analysis in the simplest term you can understand. Basically, when we talk about analysis, we are looking at breaking a whole bunch of something into smaller parts. So we are trying to analyze something big into smaller parts for whatever reason you are doing the analysis. But when it comes to data analysis, from the two words, you are bringing down data to make meaningful and drive meaningful insights from it. So basically, you are trying to make your data to answer questions and find very interesting patterns. So in data analysis, all you are just trying to do is to make sense of data, take data and be able to drive conclusions, meanings, and all manner of things from data. In data analysis, you are transforming raw data into actionable insight for informed decision making. So if you are to give a very simple definition for definition's sake, we will say data analysis is a way to basically take raw data, clean it, transform it, and get out useful insight for decision making. Companies of all sizes need data analysis to make informed decisions. In a world now where we have so much people doing the same business with you have to make sure that whatever decision you're making is not based on your intuition, is not based on logic or whatever it is, but based on real actionable insight. You are basing your decision making on facts, on things and patterns that are observed, which can be able to give you a better decision. So data analysis is so crucial for every stage of business. Organizations use data to be able to make better decisions, increase their efficiency, and forecast future consequences. So, data analysis is used in many industries, which includes business, healthcare, finance, marketing, scientific research to gain insight and solve problems. I want you to understand the fact that data analysis is not a complex course. It's a very simple course. All you need to understand is the fact that you are taking raw data and you are transforming that data by inspecting it, cleaning it up, and be able to extract insight that can support your decision making. So you can ask now that what is the process of data analysis? Well, data analysis has a very structured sequence of steps that can lead from data, raw data, to actionable insights. And the first one we talk about is data collection. So data collection talks about you gathering relevant data from various sources and ensuring quality data and integrity. So you are actually gathering data from different places, and that is how you can be able to get enough data to be able to make good decisions. But once you get the data, you have to identify and look at the errors or missing values in that data. Look at things that are not consistent and clean the data for accurate analysis. Then you're supposed to transform that data. Transform it by preparing the data for analysis and doing a whole lot of arrangement to see what sense you can make of the data. Another important thing to do is to interpret and visualize the data. Translate the data into actionable insight through visualizations, and that includes things like putting it in a chart, in a table, and summarize it so that it can be able to conveniently convey whatever findings that is discovered. Lastly, you need to learn how to deploy the data. So deploying data talks about implementing the insights into real-world situations or strategies, ensuring that the data-driven recommendations are properly implemented. Now we can look at some basic methods of data analysis, and we'll talk about ones with some real-life examples. We can look at descriptive analysis. So here we are looking at summarizing and organizing data to describe the current situation. So you could use statistical things like mean, median, mode to be able to describe the major features of a data set. An example of this is when a company decides to analyze sales data that they have gotten over a very long period of time, maybe 1 year or 2 years, and they try to calculate the mean sales on figures, and they try to use chart to be able to visualize the sales trend. So data analysis is very good. You could be able to analyze your sales in 1 or 2 years and check the chart to see, are we really making progress or we are not making progress, because data tells a good story when it is properly researched and gotten to extract useful insights. The next we can look at now is diagnostic analysis. Here we are talking about going beyond descriptive analysis to be able to see how we can be able to find why something happened. So when you look at data, it's not just about knowing what happened. You could also know why did a particular thing happen, and that is when you, for example, notice a drop in sales in your company, and you observe something actually has gone wrong. You can look at the data to observe what actually went wrong. And for example, now, like I said, when there's a drop in sales, a retailer that uses a diagnostic analysis to investigate the reasons might just look at the marketing effort of the company, look at the economic conditions, the competitor actions to identify the cause. So you look at so many parameters to see what are the reasons this thing happened. So the next we'll talk about is predictive analysis. So here we are looking at using what has happened in the past, which we call the historical data, and statistical techniques to forecast future outcomes. So in predictive analysis, we can be able to examine a data set of what has gone in the past, looking at things that has happened in the past, maybe your sales record in the past, or whatever it is. You gather the information and you're able to understand, oh, what's happening. You observe that during summer, this thing doesn't sell, but during winter this thing sells. Why is that this doesn't sell during summer? It might be people's behavioral actions, it might be surrounding the feelings, might be whatever it is. You're able to predict that, oh, let's look at it that we don't need to put in so much money in this product by summer, because from historical analysis we've discovered that in summer periods this does not sell. Another example is when a company uses predictive analysis to assess the risk, or maybe an insurance company want to assess the risk of a claim of a person. You can look at historical data to see what the customer's driving history has been. You want to claim, maybe he had a car accident and he wants to have a claim on the car accident. You could check what is his driving history, what's his driving pattern, has he gotten arrested for being drunk while driving, where are the routes he moves through, and so many factors could be able to be looked at when you try to examine the customer's claims. The next is prescriptive analysis. So when you finish describing and you are done predicting, you could also prescribe. In prescriptive, you're acting like a doctor and recommending actions based on the data that you have gotten and the analysis you have done on it. So you are combining insight from descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analysis to suggest options for decision making for the company. An example is when an online retailer uses prescriptive analysis to optimize inventory management. So the system recommends that the best product to sell during a particular time is this and this, based on the historical data, based on diagnostics, based on so many factors, predictive and descriptive analysis. We can say it is better we actually push in more money to advertise this product during this time, because we understand that during this time this product is going to sell. So let's look at quantitative analysis. Now, well, we are looking at using mathematical and statistical techniques to be able to analyze numerical data. For example, a financial analyst can use quantitative analysis to evaluate the stock performance of his company using different financial ratios. What we are saying here is data analysis is very crucial and can be used in several aspects and use cases. So the question is, how do you get data? Well, data is all around us. Every day, every time we are interacting with data. The clearest example is when a customer comes to buy from you as a salesperson, that is a data. His purchasing habit is a data. When people go on social media, what they like, what they click on, what they read, and all the things they do on social media is them generating data. And that is data they can be able to, data analysts in the company is able to look at and prescribe, analyze, and see future trends. Data is so important for decision making because it helps companies to know where to channel their resources and how to make good decisions. Like I said, every day people generate data. Even as you are watching this video right now, you are generating data based on your interest. So YouTube or whatever platform you are watching the video is able to look at all of your interests and actually suggest more to you. Have you ever observed that sometimes you are looking at something on Facebook and next thing you go on Twitter or you go on YouTube, you are still seeing that same thing. You also go on TikTok, you are still seeing that same thing. Then you go on Google, you are searching for some things, you are still seeing that same thing. Why? It is because the data is being analyzed and they are used to actually tell you. So that is an action of data right there based on your interactions in the past. All the suggestions given to you is based on data you have released. Your behavior, how much you have consumed of the content that they have given to you tells them of how much interest that you have in that subject. So they keep supplying more to you because they know from data that you have interest in this subject. Data is not hard. Remember, everything we do on a daily basis tells us about data. For example, how you go to work tells us about data. Do you have a particular route of going to work? If there's a particular route of going to work, it tells us about data. Another example is when you go to church, how do you sit in church? Some people have an habit of sitting on the last row. That is data. That data tells us that people that sit on the last row probably have some reasons to sit down there. They are shy, maybe of the front, or they have some issues with ushers directing them, or whatever it is being collated as data. And a church can use that data to examine how to be able to remove the back seat, fill people in the front first, and now start filling at the back, or whatever it is. You use data everywhere. Your eating habit is data. Your whatever reading habit is data. Your the levels of the kind of movies and interests that you watch are all data. So data is very, very essential, and data is the new oil. So I believe that with this few explanation, you're able to understand what data is and able to have a good understanding of how to move on in data. Let me summarize. Data is everywhere. Remember, data is how we interact with our daily activities, whether through watching of movies, whether through listening to radio tapes, whether through maybe walking steps, or your movement, your buying, purchasing habit, all is data. And data analysis is simply taking data, a huge chunk of data. What 10 people do now, 20 people are doing the same thing. Oh, 100 people are doing the same thing. You take a huge chunk of data and examine why are they doing these things. You can look at the story from data, then you are able to analyze it's because of this, and this. You're able to break down the reasons why they are doing that, and you're able to put them in a chart and prescribe to the company what to do to increase sales, to increase patronage, to increase output, or to find new places to put their products, or to find new social media platforms to put their advertisement. All of these things are gotten from data. I hope you enjoyed this very wonderful session. Join me in the next class as we talk about the roadmap of a data analyst.